Railroads are the most efficient transportation mode for moving goods on the Earth's surface. Railroads are particularly crucial for the delivery of bulk, heavy goods across long distances when transportation costs make up a sizable amount of the overall delivered cost. All industrialized nations have extensive rail networks that reach all parts of their countries. Railways reduce carbon gas emissions while fostering economic growth. They are a clean and efficient method to transport masses of cargo and millions of passengers across nations and continents. Yet, railways make a shrinking share of transport in many developing countries, where railway service is often uncompetitive and poorly integrated with other forms of transport. The Gulf Cooperation Council (GCC) planned to construct a railroad that would go across 6 nations and cover a distance of 2170 km. Gulf countries' economies are mostly oil-dependent. The goal of this initiative is to diversify the economy away from oil. Of course, this project has its obstacles, just like every other venture. In this video, we will have a look at this project, taking into consideration the challenges and obstacles. What is GCC? With shared political and economic interests, the Persian Gulf area has come together to form the Gulf Cooperation Council (GCC). The GCC, which includes the United Arab Emirates, Oman, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait, was established on May 25, 1981. They have all got rich from oil and gas. Their economy are mainly dependent on the price of oil. When the global financial crisis hit in 2008, it was believed that Arab nations would be immune due to their extensive financial reserves and their limited connections to the global economic system. This assumption has been proven to be incorrect, though. Oil prices fell, and the crisis had an effect on both resource-wealthy and resource-poor nations. That's where the idea of building a railway comes in. The Gulf Railway, commonly referred to as GCC Railway, is a proposed rail network that would link the 6 nations that make up the Gulf Cooperation Council in Eastern Arabia. The rail network will have a total length of 2,177 kilometers. The project is estimated to cost between $100 to $250 billion. It was scheduled to be completed by 2023. Each of the 6 GCC member nations is in charge of carrying out the project's component that is located on its soil, and each will build its own railway lines, branches, stations, and freight terminals. The 6 nations will split the cost in proportion to the length of their respective rail networks. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, followed by Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain, will spend the most on the project. The Saudi Railway Company in Saudi Arabia, Etihad Rail in the United Arab Emirates, Oman Rail in Oman, and Qatar Rail in Qatar will develop the network. The GCC Railway will consist of approximately 2,117 kilometers of rail infrastructure. It will begin in Kuwait and travel through the Saudi Arabian cities of Jubail and Dammam on its way to Manama and Doha. It will then return to Saudi Arabia, travel through Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Fujairah, and finally reach Muscat. Etihad Rail is the project's primary component. Etihad Rail is a 1,200 kilometers railway infrastructure project being built in the United Arab Emirates. The GCC railway network will connect the UAE with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Oman. Its total cost is $11 billion. It is anticipated that the new railway project will provide a sustainable and effective alternative for the transportation of passengers and freight throughout the Emirates' urban and rural areas. Road traffic emissions will be significantly reduced thanks to the railway infrastructure. It will serve approximately 16 million passengers and 50 million tons of freight, according to expectations. It is constructed in 2 stages, Stages 1 and 2. Stage 1 was completed in 2016, and Stage 2 is currently in construction. The railway network's construction has completed more than 70% of Stage 2. Even though it seems like a project that would solve a lot of problems at once, building this ambitious project is difficult. To put it mildly, the working environment is difficult. During the summer, when temperatures are closer to 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit, some construction sites operate at night. As we know that 90% of Arabia is made up of sand, sand can form dunes, which can alter the landscape in a variety of ways when strong winds are present. Building a structure that is safe for engineers, construction workers requires a lot of effort and hard work. Etihad learned from others who have built in the desert, including China, Saudi Arabia, and Mauritania. These nations came up with solutions like turning sand dunes into clay over a long period of time, keeping an eye on the changing dunes, and planting vegetation walls to stop wind and sand. To help overcome the difficulties posed by the sand, Etihad Rail's locomotive design includes a sand filtration system and sand plow. Stage 1. Stage 1 of the railway network is a 264 kilometers long western stretch between Al Ruwais and Shah. It connects Ruwais with Habshan and further links Habshan with the Shah. Etihad Rail built 20 overbridges, 2 underbridges, 10 road underpasses, and 18 smaller underpasses for future use. The Shah Habshan Ruwais freight line was built in collaboration with the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, ADNOC. It transports approximately 7 million tons of granulated sulfur a year from Habshan and Shah to Al Ruwais in Abu Dhabi for export. The development of communication systems, the construction of bridges, and the establishment of a railway depot in Murfa were all part of Stage 1 of the railway network. Stage 2. The construction of Stage 2 is being carried out in a series of packages with a strategy that ensures competitive tenders by the alignment of mainline civil and track packages geographically within each emirate. Package A is 139 kilometers long and connects Kuwaifat with Stage 1. It was completed in September 2021. Construction work on the remaining packages is currently ongoing. Package B is 216 kilometers long connecting Tarift to Shah Shuaib, while Package C covers 94 kilometers, connecting Jebel Ali to Sharjah. The final package, Package D between Dubai and Sharjah, is 145 kilometers long. 9 tunnels that are part of Package D were completed in November 2021. The network will connect the country's major industrial ports and trading centers when it is finished. This will make it possible to move more than 50 million tons of goods across the network each year. Iron ore, gold, aluminum, and silver are just a few of the other natural resources that Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have the potential to develop. They would benefit from a robust railway infrastructure, which would also assist these governments in utilizing existing natural resources. Even though the Etihad Rail network is moving forward, the GCC Rail project as a whole hasn't always gone as planned. Qatar's participation in the railway project was questioned. GCC countries briefly blocked Qatar from its organization. Additionally, the pandemic and low oil prices have resulted in logistical delays and reductions in infrastructure spending, delaying completion by years. Although Etihad has not yet specified a specific date for the railway's opening to commuters, such an announcement may prove difficult to make in a nation that values its automobiles. Road Safety UAE conducted a survey in 2020 and found that only 13% of respondents use public transportation, while 83% of respondents depend on cars. Cultural shifts take time, whereas technological shifts can occur almost instantly. In the future, passenger trains operated by Etihad Rails will allow passengers to travel from Abu Dhabi to Dubai in 50 minutes. The GCC members agree that the operating speed should be around 220 kilometers per hour. Nonetheless, the railway plays a significant role in Gulf nations' plans to diversify their economies and become more sustainable. It has created a new business, which means more jobs. Training programs and rail studies have been developed by Saudi Arabia and the Emirates. According to Professor Amri, the Gulf economies have grown exponentially over the last 30 years, and the railway lines are a logical extension to the immense economic growth that the Gulf states have experienced. The Emirates might be known for its oil riches and captivating modern turns of events. However, the Etihad Rail line is a brief look into Pioneer's drawn-out system to fabricate a more associated, brought-together inlet. Let us know in comments what do you think about this project.